is questionnaire?
Sir, a list of questions which we use for data collection.
Yeah,
It can
so
be like in
correct.
different format.
Okay.
Uh,
And this data collection is related to
for research purposes.
any other
Um, for any like questionnaires could be for testing purposes also, like for assessment.
assessment of what? Correct. Assessment
Assessment
of
of
what?
any construct like yeah, what I'm not getting the exact word. Like any
Assessment of,
psychological variable.
yeah,
Yeah.
assessment of individual difference.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Hmm?
Uh-huh. So yes, for
Individual
individual
difference in responses to the
these
item.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Items.
Okay.
Yes.
So questionnaire includes set of questions or set of the items. Okay. Now, what is item?
Item is the individual question or individual statement in the questionnaires. Uh, yes, that's it.
Yeah. So item is the unit that represents the constructs measuring by the questionnaire. Okay. It is the unit of what?
Of the questionnaire
Yeah,
individual.
the questionnaire basically is measuring the construct. Okay.
Yeah.
And the item is the unit of behavior that represents the construct.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. So why do we study the item? We are also studying the item. Why do we study the item? To understand to what extent item represents the construct. Okay. Because if the item does not represent the construct, that means that item is not valid. Number one. Number two, whether the item has ability to discriminate between the two categories of people having high and low level of the traits measuring by the construct. Okay. And when we are talking about the individual difference, so this individual difference means individual response varies over time, place, etc. And individual difference covers between individuals, between groups, individual and the group. Okay. So if it is related to the between individuals, that means two individuals are there and you have administered the questionnaire. So how do you compare these two individuals based on what? Based on the norm. Okay. Based upon the norm, you can compare. Based on the score, definitely you can compare. Again, based on the norm, you can compare. Individual and the group, that is group mean and the individual score, to what extent deviated from each other. So that can be your indicator. Now I am requesting Farah to go to the next slide.
Yes, sir.
So psychological questionnaire refers to a device composed of set of questions measuring individual differences in psychological construct. Okay. This construct may be of uni or multidimensional measure. For example, Spielberger's state anxiety questionnaire is unidimensional. All the questions of all the statements are highly correlated with the state anxiety. Same is possible for trait anxiety questionnaire. On the other hand, Eysenck personality questionnaire is multidimensional. EPQ measure extraversion, eroticism, and psychoticism, and all the corresponding items are correlated with the corresponding construct. So this is the definition of questionnaire. It refers to a device. Okay. And Anjali, you have told that is the set of questions that is also there. Yeah. Next
Yes.
paragraph. Next slide. Questionnaires are widely used tools in research, survey, and data collection process. They serve as a means to gather valuable information and insights from respondents, enabling researchers and organizations to make informed decisions. However, the construction of a well-designed questionnaire requires careful planning and attention to detail. Okay. Now it is clearly written that is the careful planning. So this careful planning includes what? Includes the standardization,
Yes, sir.
reliability,
Yeah.
validity, norm, etc. Okay. So these are the important issues. While designing questionnaire measures individual differences with respect to psychological variables, namely personality, intelligence, interest, attitude, abilities, etc. The individual difference may be of different types, that is inter-individual, inter-group. Okay, that means between individual, another one is the with within the group because it is written intra-group. If it is inter-group, that means between the groups. A good questionnaire follows normative or predictive approach for classification of people. In case of normative approach, test administrator uses the norm, and in predictive approach, regression model is followed. Okay. So two ways of classification are there. One is the normative approach, another one is the predictive approach. Normative approach means Based upon the norm, you can classify the individual position. And another one is the predictive approach. And there you have to follow the regression model, because sometimes we cannot use the normative approach. For example, you are measuring job satisfaction. So job satisfaction, it is the attitude towards the job. And you can assume that if the job attitude is high, then the job turnover or the absenteeism in the job, that will be less. Okay. Therefore, if you find out that is your questionnaire measuring job satisfaction, that is negatively correlated with the turnover and the absenteeism, then you can say that, okay, this questionnaire is measuring the job satisfaction. So this is the correlation and the regression. And by using the regression model, you will get the best fit line. And based upon the best fit line, you can classify the individual who is close to the model and who is away from the model. Okay. What is next? Next slide. Farah, next slide. Hello, Farah, are you here? Okay. A good questionnaire has several characteristics as standardization. Standardization means it will be scored objectively. Okay. And the instruction will be the same for all the individuals. Again, the items will be the same for all the individuals. And test may have the norm. Okay. Next one is the reliability. Reliability means consistency over time or among the items. Validity, it means to what extent the questionnaire is measuring what it intends to measure. Objectivity, that means there will be no subjective biasness. For example, reading and writing motivation test has standardized instruction, standardized scoring procedure, test retains reliability and validity. and predictive validity with academic achievement. The test has specific norms based on T-score. Item or statement is the unit of questionnaire. Before designing the questionnaire, one has to choose questionnaire types. For example, whether it will be the interval scale, or it is the ordinal scale or the nominal scale, etc. Multiple choice or semantic differential scale in designing the questionnaire. Following guidelines are to be followed. Number one, use simple or straightforward language. So the sentence will be simple so that there will be no cognitive complexity on the respondents. Number two, avoid jargon or technical terms or complex sentence structure that might confuse respondents. Number three, keep the questionnaire concise and to the point. Number four, avoid long-winded questions that can lead to respondent fatigue and may result in inaccurate or incomplete responses. Use one idea per question. Combining multiple ideas can lead to ambiguous or inconsistent responses. Avoid leading or biased questions. Questions should be neutral and unbiased to ensure respondents' answers are not influenced. Use natural language and avoid phrasing that might sway respondents in a particular direction. Pilot testing and revision. Before administering the questionnaire to the large sample, conduct a pilot test with small group of respondents. This allows you to identify any potential issues such as ambiguous questions, confusing response options, missing data, or problems with the flow. Based on the feedback received, you can modify the questionnaire to improve its clarity and effectiveness. So this is the important part for the questionnaire construction. Now, when you want to use any questionnaire, you have to examine few things. The number one, that is the population. Whether the questionnaire is applicable for the younger generation or for the adult generation. For example, cattle 16 PF, that is for the adult population. But HSPQ, that is high school personality questionnaire, that you can administer to the high school students. Okay. So you have to find out, that is whether your questionnaire is applicable for the population on which you are studying. Otherwise, you will get faulty data. Now, next point, you have to check the item and its corresponding domain. If your questionnaire is multidimensional, you always check whether the item is measuring the domain properly or not. Number 3, it is important to check the retest reliability or the internal consistency of the items. What is the coefficient? If you find the retest reliability over 15 days interval, and the coefficient is more than 0.8, you can think that the trait will be relatively stable. Trait means the trait that is measured by the questionnaire. That will be relatively stable. And particularly in case of measuring personality, intelligence, aptitude, interest, you have to pay attention to the retest reliability. Another part is the internal consistency. Please you check whether the items are internally consistent or not. Suppose you have 50 items and they are highly consistent internally. That means among the items, all the items are correlated with more than 0.9 or 0.8, more than 0.8 or 0.9. Then there is a high chance for the multicollinearity. Therefore, you have to pay much attention to the multicollinearity issue of the questionnaire. Okay. Another important part is the validity. That is whether the questionnaire has any good concurrent or predictive or discriminative validity or not. You have to check thoroughly. After that, you will use that questionnaire. And whenever you will interpret the data, you always consider these psychometric properties of the questionnaire. Okay. So this is the most important part for construction of the questionnaire and for checking the questionnaire. Okay. Mona Lisa, is it okay?
Yes, sir. Validity, you told some concurrent, descriptive, and discriminant, na, sir?
Many validities are there: concurrent, predictive validity,
Yes.
construct validity, content validity. Different types of validities are there.
Yes, sir.
So you have to check, that is, whether your questionnaire has the good validity, and if the validity is there, then the questionnaire is validated with which criteria. That is also important. For example, in case of the reading and writing motivation, it is validated with academic achievement. Okay. Anjali, it is clear. Any question?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Okay.
Sir, I have question.
Yeah.
Sir, in SPSS, how we can do the validity things?
SPSS. So if you want to correlate,
Yes,
then
sir.
the correlation is possible through SPSS. Even you can do the regression analysis also for the validation. You can do the discriminative function for the validation. You can use the logistic regression for the validation.
Yes.
So a lot of the things are there. You can do the ANOVA also for the validation. It depends upon in which way you want to validate.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, is there any range of validity like reliability? There is some range.
Yeah, if it is more than 0.7, you can think that is okay, it is a good. And if it is more than 0.8, that means it is very good.
Yes. Mm.
But it should not be less than 0.5.
Yes, sir.
And if you find that is the validity coefficient is less than 0.5, you must be very much alarmed. That is whether data has any outlier or and whether the coefficient is theoretically correct or not.
Yes, sir. Sir, in SPSS, we are using the Pearson product moment correlation, sir.
Yeah, Pearson product moment correlation you can use. It depends upon in which way you want to assess the validity.
Yes.
Validity means what it intends to measure.
Yes, sir.
Suppose your questionnaire is measuring the purchase decision. That
Yes.
means it should be related to the purchasing behavior of the people.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, any other question?
सर वैलिडिटी में कैसे हम लोग जानेंगे जे ये कॉन्करेंट है, ये प्रेडिक्टिव है, ये कॉन्स्टेंट वैलिडिटी है, ये हम कैसे पता करेंगे सर?
Yeah, very good question. Concurrent means similar type of questionnaire will be correlated with your questionnaire. For example, I have developed one standardized questionnaire for measuring the purchase decision. You have also developed one questionnaire for measuring the purchase decision. And if you find there is a high correlation between my questionnaire and your questionnaire, then you can tell that is the concurrent validity is high. Okay.
Yes.
Because my questionnaire already standardized and you are developing the questionnaire.
Yes, sir.
For that reason. Okay.
Yes, sir.
One sec. বিপ্লব বলো ভালো আছি তোমার খবর সব ভালো তো আচ্ছা হ্যাঁ যাই তো রেগুলার যাই হ্যাঁ এখন ওই আমরা একটা প্রোগ্রাম করবো থ্যাংক ইউ ওইগুলোই চালিয়ে রেখে দিয়েছি আর কি ইউনিটটাকে বাঁচিয়ে রেখেছি বলো আচ্ছা শোনো বিপ্লব আমি না ক্লাসে আছি হ্যাঁ আমাকে একটু পরে বলবে তা নাহলে তোমার এই কথাগুলো সব আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে ওকে আচ্ছা 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 ঠিক আছে another one that is the predictive validity. So predictive validity means you want to predict the purchasing behavior of the people, okay,
Yes, sir.
who obtained high score in your purchasing behavior questionnaire.
Yes,
Correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
That means you are predicting. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So initially you collected the data from the individual. After that, again, you collected the data from the individual related to their purchasing behavior. So one part is the attitude. You are measuring the purchasing attitude of the individual and the purchasing behavior of the individual. So that will be the predictive validity. You are predicting the
Yes.
chance for purchasing the product. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is the way you can assess the validity.
Yes, sir.
In the next class, I will discuss all those things. Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you. Thank you, Farah.
सर वैलिडिटी हम अगर पढ़ेंगे तो पूरा एक क्लास लग जाएगा ना उसमें सर क्योंकि
हाँ,
बहुत टाइप्स का वैलिडिटी है
बहुत टाइप्स है वैलिडिटी।
यस सर
हमारा जब बुक है ना, वो बुक आप पढ़ना चाहिए, वो हमें
यस
सब
सर
कुछ लिखा है।
सर
बोलिए तो
वो बुक शेयर कर सकते हैं क्या, लाइक उस पे, मतलब
वो
कौन सी बुक?
मेरा पास एक तो बुक ही नहीं है अभी,
ओके,
पूरा खत्म हो गया। अमेजन में मिलता
फरा
है।
मैम कैन शेयर इफ
No,
And,
I do not think Farah has that book. Farah, do you have that book?
no, Anjali, I don't have. You have to purchase it from
ओके,
Amazon. Yeah.
सर
अच्छा,
बुक
ओके,
नेम सर
मेरा
ओके
पास बुक
मैम,
तो नहीं
नाम
है। मेरा
नाम
पास जो
शेयर
भी
कर
बुक था
Anjali,
खत्म
I'll
हो
share
गया।
the book. Yeah.
ओके, या
So that questionnaire wala na, sir?
हाँ,
Questionnaire wala book, right?
प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ क्वेश्चनर डेवलपमेंट।
Yes, I have shared with Varsha also. Let me share with Anjali.
हाँ, और एक नरेश सर वाज टेलिंग कि स्टैटिस्टिक्स वाला भी
No,
है
sir,
कोई।
actually, we have not published yet.
ओ
He's
ओके ओके
writing with, yeah, he's writing.
ओके 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 फाइन।
It's, yeah. Sir, she is asking about the book that currently on which Naresh Babu is working on. So
Yeah,
the
that is not yet.
published, yes, sir.
It is still working. Many
Yeah.
things
ओके
are to
ओके
be added.
ओके सर फाइन।
Anjali, I've
My
shared.
book, yeah, I
Yeah.
think in
ओके
Amazon you will get the book with 300 maybe,
Yes, sir. They can. It's
ओके
not
सर,
that costly.
because
या
I do not have any copy.
ओके सर।